Oh, you're on mute.
Good morning. It's 10:31, and I'd like to call the June 10th, 2022 meeting of the Lackawanna County Regional Planning Commission to order. And we'll do the roll call. Do we have Rosemary Broderick?
Present.
Jerry Carey?
Jerry is here.
Oh, Jerry, okay.
Is here.
John Pocius?
Present.
Harry Lindsay? Tony Grisanti?
Here.
Chet Murley?
Present.
And we go to the approval of the minutes. The
Oh.
minutes, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just want to be, two things real quick before we start the meeting. One, that the Clifton Acres subdivision that I had sent out saying it wasn't on the agenda. It is on the agenda, but it wasn't listed on the resolution. So we're adding that to the resolution. So we don't need to vote to put it on because it was on there. We forgot to list it.
Right.
And one more thing, I'd like to introduce Eric Middleton. If you could see Eric, he did his internship here. He's a graduate of Penn State. He has a business degree, but he's interested in doing the transportation planning position. So, he's part of our staff. We just started yesterday, full time.
Welcome aboard.
Thank
you.
He's got a lot of PennDOT-E's to learn.
We'll get there.
Okay, and I have not received any requests from the public to join the meeting, so I don't know if there's any public comment.
Okay,
Well, I move to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
okay. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any noes? Seeing none, we'll go to the next agenda item. Communications. Mary Liz?
Okay, bills, we've missed the bills.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Okay.
okay, that's okay. We only had 4, if anybody has any questions.
Move to approve the invoices.
Second? Any second?
Second, Chet.
Okay. And any questions on that? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any noes? Okay, the ayes have it. All right. And we'll go to communications.
Okay, so we had 6 letters of communication. 4 of them were support letters for DCED and DCNR grants. We had a letter from Bob to Labella Associates regarding it's a standard DEP form that has to be filled out for Chapter 105, acknowledging that the project was in compliance with the Stormwater Management Plan and Ordinance, but that's a municipal, the municipality regulates that. So we just basically had to tell them that the municipality does that. And then the last one is actually from Brenda to Tom Hughes of the Hazard Mitigation Officer from Pima. Jessup is applying for a hazard mitigation grant for some stormwater improvements. Every time you do a hazard mitigation grant, your project has to be listed in the county's plan, which it wasn't. So the borough had a request that we amend the ordinance, which is basically we just state that we're in favor of the project and we just need to send them a letter. So that's what that's about. And that is it.
And now to old business.
Okay, transportation. We submitted the first quarter invoice for 21-22. I just got word yesterday that it has been approved. So that's at the state's comptrollers for hopefully within a month now we'll have that reimbursement. Also, the open-end agreement with PennDOT was approved. That goes from 2022 to 28. And that's basically the contract that authorizes us to do the transportation planning. And that goes, like I said, for 6 years. So we won't have to do that again till 28.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, that was quite a process, right, Brenda?
Got a lot of computer issues.
PennDOT needs a new website.
Pretty much.
Okay, under systems planning, myself, Bob, and Jessica participated in the May 18th bi-monthly planning partners virtual meeting. Some discussions on the UPWP updates. The Department of Health has a WalkWorks program, that was interesting. They do there's some grants to communities to do like walkability plans and programs like that for the healthy community. They showed a map of all the communities that had these WalkWork programs in effect, and only 2 in the northeast part of the state were on the map. And one was in Susquehanna County and the other one was in Monroe County. So we don't have any WalkWorks communities in our county. Bob is working on the functional class. Jess is looking at the aerial photos looking for the new developments that would have caused the traffic counts to go up. Eric is actually helping out Bob. We threw him right to the lions on his first day. He's checking some of the segments. They had some errors in of the straight line diagrams, and the actual PennDOT maps were not jiving. So Eric is going through all those to make sure everything is correct. The Eastern Freight Alliance met on May 19th to decide the consultant for the rail study. And then again, that's the 5 MPOs in the eastern part of the state. It was really close. It was quite a conversation we had at that meeting, but 4 of the MPOs decided to go with WSP of Philadelphia. Michael Baker was the other consultant under consideration. The NEPA Alliance was in favor of Michael Baker. Lehigh Valley was actually in favor of Michael Baker at the beginning, and then Becky Bradley, the director there, kind of verbally talked herself through both of them and then decided to change her vote. So Michael Baker did the state freight plan. WSP did the New Jersey state plan. But Michael Baker, even though they had that edge of doing the Pennsylvania state plan, really didn't bring their A game to the interview. And WSP really impressed a lot of people with their proposal. So it was decided 4-1 to go with WSP. Bob, do you want to talk about the Valley in Motion project that's going on real quick?
Sure. So Valley in Motion reached out to us, 2-3 weeks ago about, they're looking to do a loop, a walking and biking loop, connecting the Iron Furnaces to Naog Park and then over to the Heritage Trail. They were looking for guidance as far as the bike study, which we haven't quite implemented yet. But we sat in on a few meetings with them. I just got an email yesterday. They've gotten a $7,500 grant to put towards that project. And they met with Representative Cartwright's office, I believe last Friday. So they're going to be looking at different multimodal funds, grant funds for that. And just try and nail down accurate cost assessments.
And the city is doing a connectivity study. And we were actually invited to, they're having a kickoff meeting the 27th at Lackawanna College at 6:30. And then we're actually doing a stakeholders meeting with them on Friday, July 1st. So we'll be bringing up the bike study and hopefully we'll be able to coordinate these 2 projects. Under programming, it's TIP time. Transportation Improvement Program, for those of you who don't know PennDOT's acronyms. This is a 2-year program, has to be done every 2 years. We have the documentation here. It's in the public comment period, which goes to July 6th. It's also, it's at the transit authorities in the Colts, Luzerne County and Hazleton. It's also down in Luzerne County Planning, but at the July 6th MPO is when it'll be adopted. Okay, SAPA, again, no activity. I know the city is still working. There's been some articles in the paper with the Hill neighbors, and the CMC are kind of, I think at this point, holding it up. So we're just waiting patiently. Some of the Abington communities are getting a little, the patience is wearing off on a few of them, but we're just hoping that this, plays out. Nothing on the passenger rail. Hazard mitigation, again, we submitted the grant. We're still waiting to hear back whether, the exact amount we're going to get on the next update. But Jess, myself, and Bob were doing a 3-part virtual seminar on the 50th anniversary of Hurricane Agnes. Yesterday's session on the flood mitigation then and now was really, really interesting. To learn about what was in place prior to Agnes and the communities that that were saved because of these flood walls and levees, and then those that weren't. So they talked about Sunbury, which had the flood wall, and then just up the river in Danville didn't have anything at the time, and they just the whole town was underwater. So it was very interesting. And then we have one more session left on learning from the past and preparing for the future, and that's sponsored by FEMA and the Chesapeake Research Consortium. Speaking of Chesapeake, no activity on the action plan. The NORLAC Planning Group, which is the 7 communities up in the Carbondale area, Ted Ritzik and myself are going to the local meetings. We have 4 on board. We actually have 5. Tuesday night, Ted and I were in Greenfield Township. They voted unanimously to participate in the plan. We've got German actually pushed back till July because Ted has a conflict for the June meeting. So we have German and Fell left. But as of now, everybody is really in favor of this project. So we're hoping that we're going to have to put some time limits on it, though, so we don't have a delay like SAPA. And that is it for old business.
Okay, we move on then to new business.
Okay, so development reviews, it was actually a very slow month. We only had 6 plans, and we have just one to talk about, and that's Jess's, and it's a Highlands at Archibald Phase 2.
Right, so this review starts on page 18 of your packet. Again, this is Highlands at Archibald Phase 2. So this is an existing community on Archibald German Road. Right now, the community does have a clubhouse. It has a pool, gym, and fitness center. I believe they also have a pub style restaurant in the clubhouse as well. This proposed expansion is going to include 121 residential lots. There may be a typo. There's some places where it says 119, but the lots are platted out at 121 lots. This does include 2 new roads, an entrance off Archibald German Road, and a new entrance off of South Washington Street. The South Washington Street road is actually partially existing. It goes next to a medical office. And then
Right center.
Yes,
the right center. Yeah.
Yeah, the right center. Thank you.
Yep.
And then the new entrance off Archibald German Road, a portion of it, there's an apron there, but based off of aerial imagery, it looks like it might have maybe a dirt road that was used to service a PP&L easement, something like that. I'm not really quite sure. But that is north of the Highway Auto Parts location. Excuse me. So even though I did have a lot of comments on this plan, they actually did a lot of things that I liked as well, that I would like to see leap into other communities in the area. My comments start on page 19. And the items that I'm speaking about right now are it's the first line. So they had very nice internal traffic signage and pedestrian connectivity. They have really good street lights, and according to the plan, those street lights are the same ones used in Archibald itself. So that's a really nice carryover feature. They also have very nice plantings on Highland Boulevard and the new portion of Highland Boulevard's north. So I thought those were really nice and that they deserve to be kind of get some kudos for those items. As I said before, in reference to the number of lots. I believe there might just be a typo. I counted 121 individual lots. Additionally, there's also a portion of the plan that indicates these lots will be used for townhouses, but I think that might be a simple typo as well. I'm not sure. So I've indicated here that if they are townhouses, they'll have to go in front of the zoning hearing board. Item number 2 is in reference to PPL easements. There's a rather large easement that runs through the entire new section of this community. And I just have concerns because there are 8 lots proposed in the current easement. There are certain pages that indicate a proposed shift to that easement. And if the shift occurs, it will affect 3 lots, most notably proposed lot number 25. That lot, most of the building envelope will be taken up by this easement. So I'm just a little concerned about that. Item number 3 is in reference to some pieces of information that have just been left off the plan relative to open space, density calculations, impervious surface ratios, and then information regarding the commercial aspects of the community. When it comes to the open space areas, they might have it. We know that this community has a large golf course. Again, they have the clubhouse, they have the pool. They may have all the features that are necessary, but without seeing the calculations or those items on the plan, I'm not sure. And then item number 5 is in reference to fencing that is going to surround the stormwater management facilities. Some of these fences, they're encroaching on these proposed lots. Specifically, I'm concerned about lots 13 and 14. The fence is encroaching in part of the building envelope for those lots. So if they're not redesigned or easements aren't placed, then that could become an issue in the future. And then I promise I'm almost done on page 20. Item number 6, they do have a proposed 80 by 120 storage shed that's located in the C1 zoned portion of the parcel. So this is over next to South Washington Street, I believe, Avenue, sorry. I'm not quite sure what that use is going to be in the shed. I assume that it's going to be some kind of maintenance equipment for the community. But I think that the governing body should assess whether the proposed gravel road is appropriate for that item because of the location. So that's all I felt like we should discuss for this plan. Does anyone have any questions?
I do. Number 9A, I'm not sure I understand what you mean by that.
Okay, so they have let me just read it over real quick. Okay, they have a proposed circular road, I suppose you could say. It's not quite a cul-de-sac, but it's coming up and it's surrounding, think about like a circle that's split in half. So this circle goes all the way around, and then in the center is another road. So you're going to have lots in the north and south portion of the circle, and then again on the southerly portion along that center line, and then the bottom. So there's 2 different road names for that circle. And the way the plan looked, it didn't look like there was a way to differentiate where the one starts and the other ends. On site, they might be okay, but I just had some concerns about deliveries or people that weren't familiar with the community, maybe figuring out that the bottom circle is, I forget what the names are, I'm sorry.
Pheasant Drive and Rabbit Run Road.
Pheasant Drive and Rabbit Run Road.
Right. So again, on site, it might be fine, but based off the plan, it seemed like it could be a little confusing. Does that make sense?
And well, it's hard to visualize when you don't have a plan in front of you, but so you're asking the developer to go to EMS to get an okay from them?
No, the municipality is ultimately responsible for naming the roads. So
Right.
the borough, I think Jess is just trying to suggest, make sure with EMS and the borough that when they assign the road names, that there's no confusion there for emergency services.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, good. The other one, back to number 5, you talked about the fence.
Yeah.
And So you're saying in the one lot, the fence is actually within the building requirement area?
Right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, it's
the
actually
one
lots
comment,
I'm sorry?
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. It's actually lots 13 and 14. So there are two lots where the building envelope is going to be encroached by this fence. So portions of the building envelope will be fenced off.
Yeah, so whoever
Right.
buys these lots, half of the lots unusable. Is going to be unusable to
Yeah.
them because it's going to be
Right.
taken up by the part of the stormwater detention basin.
Right, right. And then you're recommending that they landscape around the fence, and you're referring to just the lots that are impacted by the fence? Is that what you're?
Right. That's a separate, so there's, this one's kind of hard because there's so many different features going on with this plan. So without seeing it, it's difficult, I'm sure, to kind of conceptualize. There are multiple different stormwater facilities, and they're all surrounded by these 6-foot tall fences. So we have the one spot where the fence is encroaching on those lots that we just talked about. But then we have another spot where the 6-foot tall fence is going to be right on the property line of lots 90 through 98. And it's not a requirement that they
Right.
add the landscaping, but I just thought that it might be nice for those future residents to have something other than, a 6-foot tall wall in their backyard. Just a suggestion.
Jessica, this is John. Not having the plan too, Jeff brought up a good point with these encroachments on these lots with the fence and so on. Do the stormwater facilities encroach on these lots too, the basins?
It looks like it's kind of hard to tell. It doesn't look like they technically encroach. It looks like the fence that's supposed to act as the buffer is the item that's encroaching. So it doesn't necessarily look like there's even going to be a slope in those lots.
Oh.
But it was kind of hard to tell in the plan.
Uh,
So they might be able to move that fence back to the top of the slope
yeah.
if the plan, if it's feasible that way on site.
Is there access to all these facilities?
There is, yeah, it's actually on the
Through
opposite
easements
side.
Or through easements or whatever?
Yeah,
Because usually the developer, in most cases, tries to turn these over to the municipality. And they have to have access to them, even if he's forced to keep them and maintain them himself, well, then there has to be access, has to be easements or,
Yeah.
rights of ways to get back into these facilities for maintenance. So just a point.
definitely. And they actually do have on the opposite side of where the lots are platted, they even show gate features. There's going to be gates where they can access the stormwater features for, all of their maintenance and such. So those items are on the plan at least.
Yeah, I mean, boroughs do look at that, John, you're right, access, because sometimes you have to go in and dredge
Yeah.
those basins, especially when you're doing so much construction. It acts as E&S control first, and then along with a basin.
And they have to be cleaned, and sometimes the maintenance has to be performed on the pipes and so on and so forth, or, the racks and trash racks and all that.
Mhm.
Tony, do you guys represent Archbold? Are you guys looking at this from the borough?
We do. And the plans just came in to
Okay.
us, and Kenny presented at the planning commission on Wednesday, and I wasn't going to get into
No,
throwing a whole bunch of stuff at everybody, but yeah, I think everybody, certainly Mary Liz and Chet and you, John, understood all of Kenny's things that come in. This is going to be a long process.
I understand. Yeah, I'm not saying anything, but we never worked for him, but we did propose years back to work for him, and I understand.
Yeah, I already
I'm
sent.
not on the spot, Tony. I just know that you're going to give it a thorough review from the boroughs.
Yeah.
Staff.
Yeah, and what Jessica said about the access roads, Kenny had gotten little permits for that road that looks like it just accesses the PP&L easements off of the
Yeah.
Ein and German Road. And also when they built the Wright Center, he put in that big driveway. But the county never reviewed, the whole, how that's going to connect and tie in all that. Well, everybody is going to get a chance to look at that again.
Excellent. Okay. It's not such a big thing to move the easement. I mean, if they're going to move PP&L, is PP&L going to move the poles? And at
Yeah.
whose cost? You know what I'm saying? To create it.
Yeah.
I understand. So this is going to be a marathon, not a 100-yard dash.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And even the lots that the PP&L easement, if they move it, the lots that the new easement would affect. I mean, PP&L does not allow you to build
No,
anything within their easement area. So
no, they're
those
very,
lots,
very, very strict.
yeah,
Yeah.
looking at them right now, they're unbuildable.
Yes.
Okay. So you've answered all my questions. Thank you.
right.
Anyone else? Questions?
Okay, I just want to go over two of the ordinances that we reviewed.
Okay.
We were slow on plans, but we had 4 zoning amendments, which is quite a bit for a month. Just want to go over 2 of them real quick. Mayfield, this is the 3rd time this year that we've got an amendment from Mayfield. This just goes to show you that they're participating in this update is something they really need to do, because like I said, their ordinances are 20 years old. But this all stems from the warehouse proposal that's going off of the Meredith Street and the German exit. So they originally rezoned their IAC and a portion of their conservation zone to M1 to allow for the warehouses. Then they came back because the developer was going to put garden apartments on the other side of the Casey Highway. So they rezoned that from R1 to R2 to allow for the garden apartments. Now they're coming back, moving the IAC that they eliminated from the east side of the Casey to the west side of the Casey, rezoning about 12 acres of what they zoned R2 back to IAC for a Wawa. So, we just want to let them know that this is the 3rd time and they need to make sure that they've got their ducks in a row with all these changes, because the IAC that they voted to eliminate it, now they have to re-amend to put everything back into it. Not just create the IAC again, because in effect, they've eliminated all the uses out of it when they eliminated it, 2 months ago.
Mary Liz, what is the definition of the IAC? What does that stand for?
Oh, Interchange Activity Center. And that was the original commercial type zones that were created along all of the exits of the Casey Highway.
I got you. So the normal businesses that would show up at an exit, like either a restaurant or a convenience store, so on and so forth.
Hotels, kind of things like that. Yeah.
Got you. Okay, very good. Thank you. I never saw that before, so it was kind of new to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think everybody along the Casey has an IAC.
Okay.
Or at least it has an exit. Yeah.
Right. In fact, the county actually wrote the definition for the IAC. I was the chairman of Archibald when it went through.
Right. It
on
was
the
part of the
planning
corridor
commission.
plan that we did back
It was
then.
part of the corridor plan.
Right.
Do I remember correctly, weren't stops limited because it was a limited access highway? I don't remember Wawas or any of those being a part of that.
I'm not familiar with that. I don't recall either, Chet, at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and the last one, Clifton Township submitted an amendment for solar energy facilities because they do not have anything in their ordinance right now on solar energy facilities. The ordinance, we don't know who prepared the ordinance, but it was not very well prepared. It was not very clear. It was a lot of ambiguity. Some of the words were misspelled that would change actually the intent of the section. So we just suggested they go back. We gave them 2 samples of ordinances that were recently adopted dealing with solar energy, and also with the suggestion that their solicitor look at this and put together the legality, the parts the legalese part of the amendment as well. So that was that one. And that is it on the reviews.
Just as the comment that you see on the news this morning, there was a large area in Monroe County and Pocono Township that got approval to put in a huge solar system.
Yes,
up
I
there.
did see that. Yeah.
And there was
Yep.
some opposition from the environmentalists about, and rightfully so, but everything will be addressed, but it's going to be quite a difference from what's there.
Yeah.
You're talking acres upon acres and acres of solar.
Yeah.
500.
Yeah.
That might be to power that new development up there. What is it? The Margaritaville or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. Kalahari, near Kalahari. Yeah.
Oh.
Besides, that might be something
That
specifically.
could be.
For- don't know, but
Yeah, well, Thornhurst called me about these solar panels as well. So there might be something coming close to Lackawanna that Clifton and Thornhurst, which border Monroe, are thinking about this as well.
Mary, Maryland's thinking back. Have we had any major solar projects in Lackawanna County?
No, not that I'm aware of.
No, I'm not aware of any either.
Mm,
Besides something on a roof or yard. Kind of
Right.
thing, small.
right. Hmm.
Okay.
So I would ask for a motion to recommend approval of the reviews for June.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Any questions? Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any noes? Okay. Motion passes.
Okay, and the last thing under new business is we generally don't meet in July and August. It's your preference to, recess till September, but we need a vote on that.
Oh, I'm unmuted, so I'll make a motion that we recess for July and August and reconvene in September. And maybe we could think about coming back live maybe for that meeting. And maybe in a better spot. Think about it, Mary Liz, maybe the easier convenience for parking and conveying, maybe the EMS center might be a good spot.
Right,
It's available.
yep,
We
yep,
talked about that. So,
yep. We'll check with them. Yep.
so I'll kind of make that a tagger to the motion that we explore meeting at the EMS center too in
Okay.
September.
I'll second it.
Beautiful.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passes. And Mary Liz, there was no public comment.
There wasn't, and there's no other business unless somebody has something to bring up.
Mary Liz, I just have a quick question. The two developments we're talking about that are off the Meredith and call it Rushbrook exits.
Yes.
Obviously, since we're involved with Mayfield and Archibald and German, I've met both of those developers and talked to them. Actually, I don't think this is any secret. I don't think I'm talking out of school, but the developers at the Rushbrook are actually talking the fact that they already have it rented. They already know who's going to go in there if they
Oh,
build
I
those.
believe that. Yeah.
That 2 million square feet. So I'm wondering if you talk about all your transportation stuff, they were talking about 1,500 people in German, probably the same, at the Carbondale Township Mayfield one. And obviously everyone is not going to get to work to and from the Casey. So you have a lot of people coming down Rushbrook into German proper
Mm-hmm.
and using what would be mostly state road and county roads. So I didn't know if you would be involved in anything, even at the exit up at Meredith, where they're coming out on the state. There's also a loop in there that would bring them down onto the county road, come through Mayfield. It's going to be an increased traffic in the, coming up in the future.
Right. Right. Now, they have applied for their HOPs because the last PennDOT meeting we had regarding the HOPs, PennDOT has all that information and they've been doing traffic studies as a part of that. So they're in the works with PennDOT on that. Yeah.
I've bullied my way into the meetings.
Okay.
and the reason why, and obviously they would like the developers, and sometimes PennDOT, or all the time PennDOT goes along with this, limits the reach of that study.
Mhm.
like the one in the people in the developers that are going to come off of Rushbrook, I was pushing for that to get all the way down to the light at the Windsor
Mhm.
and then see where they go from there. And they didn't like that suggestion. So I just didn't know if not only if you guys and the transportation part through the county were interested in that, or if you might have some pull in that.
We could talk to our county engineer and see what their thoughts are on that. Because
Okay.
that road, when you come down by the Windsor, that road there is the county road, so,
Right.
yeah,
That's all. I was just
yeah,
basically looking for some more firepower.
right, sure.
All right.
This is just a comment. I mean, Tony, you said they're looking to hire 1,500 people at each place. Where are they gonna
one up
find
at
them? They can't find people to work now. Where are these people coming from?
Yeah,
Where
you're
did they
right.
all go? The people that worked?
I don't know, but this is just being silly, but if anybody on the call is looking for a part-time job up at Chewy, they'll hire you as soon as you walk in the door.
Don't go home.
Well, you could also, I know a kid, if you work a 12-hour shift and they have people to call in every day that, don't show up and you say, oh, I'll stay for another 12-hour shift, they'll give you someplace to lay down.
Wow. It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing. Where did all the people go from pre-pandemic that were working that they can't fill any jobs anywhere? Where are the kids for the summer jobs? Nobody wants to work, I guess.
I mean, not even those type, like my husband's the manager of the X-ray department at Moses Taylor, and they lost a boatload now to the Lehigh Valley. And now they can't find anybody to replace them. And then they're using agency techs that are costing, astronomical amounts. He comes home every night and bangs his head off the wall. So he's going to retire in another, year and a half. So I can't wait for that. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Traveling medical professionals are making a fortune right now.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Oh, it's sad. We went to Amadeus last Saturday after Mass for dinner and it was closed. We found out it was closed because of the people didn't show up to work. They couldn't staff the place for Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Crazy,
Wow.
right? And they have regular, loyal workers, but people have things going on and it's sad, isn't it?
Mhm.
Very.
Any other questions or comments? Okay.
Enjoy your summer.
Yes, everyone have a wonderful
Everyone have a
summer.
wonderful summer.
Enjoy. Stay well.
Yes.
We need a motion to adjourn, I believe.
Move to adjourn.
Yep.
Second. Yeah.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
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 Okay, have a great summer, everybody.
Yeah, like the song says, see you in
Bye.
September.
See you in
Like the-
September, right?
Yeah, like the song says, we'll see you in September.
September.
Enjoy. Have a great one, guys. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Stay safe and healthy.